I love you.
Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. Big old couch, plenty of room. Come on in, have a seat. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
Vero, I am the faceless Leon.
Vero. Yes. Let me slap my forehead in despair.
Vero. And this is a podcast about movies and Vero TV. And I wonder if they can hear my hand smacking against my head on the microphone.
Just like a wet fish slapping the counter.
Podcast about movies and TV, which is something I said, and we're talking about Kaos.
Chaos.
Chaos is a Netflix
Not
original.
Chaos.
Not Chaos, no, which is how it's spelled in English. But Kaos.
It's got the good old
with a
Greek
K,
spelling.
A-O-S. Yeah, because there were no C's in their language.
And there should be no C's in ours. Let's be totally upfront and honest about it.
But we need something that can be in between K and S.
No, we don't. It's really such a pointless letter.
I think
English does not need a C.
I think the only argument would be the CH, and you could just do a KH. Yeah.
What, you could do a KH or a ZH?
Yeah. Wait, what?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Zed. Sorry, Zed.
Yeah.
ZH.
Yeah, but I'm trying to... Yeah. But, I'm sure some language makes that sound.
Well, I mean, if you spell cheese with a ZH, I mean, you just got cheese. I mean, it's...
Do you?
You get the same kind of...
I love that G's, man.
G's.
G's, I love G's.
It's good enough, man. It's good enough.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
The Greeks had it figured out. That's what I'm saying.
We also don't need articles.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't.
Well, we need articles of impeachment, but
yes,
that's for a different topic.
We'll need that in about a year, I'm sure. So...
Hopefully not.
Anyhow,
go vote, everybody.
Anyhow, it's not November yet. If you haven't figured out,
go early vote. Do it.
Go vote. Chaos.
Exercise your worthless right as an American,
especially in some states, man. We're
riding high in the Midwest where my vote hasn't counted since I've been able to vote.
Yeah. So,
locally it matters.
Chaos. Yeah, it does.
Yep.
It does matter. And you know what? I think it honestly matters more than it ever has because we got pretty extreme options.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
And research before you vote, too. The local election, the broader election is very, very important. Local election affects you more.
That's true.
Make sure you research those people and don't just go voting in based on how funny their name is.
It affects you more until the executive office decides that the rest of the law doesn't matter.
Until the Cheeto in office.
Okay. Chaos. Talking about offices of high power.
Oh my goodness, indeed.
Zeus, king of the gods, is played by Jeff Golblum. This movie has to do
perfect casting choice
with the Greek gods. If we didn't say that at all, but yes, it's a perfect casting choice, especially with what they do with the Zeus character in this storyline.
Yeah, I've been describing this show to everybody that I thought would be interested in it as it is the fall of the House of Usher, but with the Greek gods.
Yeah, I like that.
Because that's all it is.
I like that.
It's literally the fall of the House of Usher with the Greek gods, but it's a comedy. It's more comedy than horror.
That's true. And also, that was a good series on Netflix as well.
It was a great series.
But that kind of gives you the
one that was intended to be just one season.
Yeah. It is sad, but at the same, I'll talk about this more in the closing statement, I'm sure. I think it was rounded enough in this
I think it needed one more season.
It did.
One more season.
It undoubtedly did, but I am satisfied with this and it not being potentially messed up by a sloppy second season.
That's fair. My issue is so that's part of the problem with the format of our show is we're not going to turn around that fast on these episodes. It's it takes us a little while to digest, to get ready to, we work full-time jobs. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you do, I suppose. Right now, I don't. Okay?
You will.
Yes,
you will. Once the dog can handle it. Oh my gosh, that poor dog. Yeah. But that's the problem, though, with this, with our format, though, is we're not going to get our thoughts out before the greedy, grubby producers decide that they've made all they can out of it and just chop the blocks. Because sadly, Kaos has been canceled, and our thoughts on it, I mean, again, we'll discuss it more in our closing statements, of course, but our thoughts on it kind of just don't matter now. Because if we do recommend people to go out and watch it, it's not going to help. It's not going to help it get
a new season. That's right, but it will get the filmmakers' art seen.
That's true.
Let's think about Geeks and Freaks and Geeks. Always forget which order that is, but that had an amazing audience, and didn't go anywhere. So
yeah. That's what happens, man. That's why people always are like, I don't understand why you like movies more than TV. It's because movies can just be done.
That's true.
They get made, they get pushed out to theaters, they either suck or they're good. TV shows, you can get hooked on for 3 to 4 fucking years, and then it can just get chopped, and you're just like, oh, but I wasn't done with that. And meanwhile, you got 8,000 NCISs and CSIs and LA laws, and it's just like, we don't need all these fucking crime procedurals.
The big one now.
Good God.
There's
Chicago
3
PD,
or
Chicago
4
Fire.
Chicago shows that air back to back on Wednesday or something.
CSI Chicago, NCIS Chicago. Disgusting, man. It really is to me. The whole television industry is just a joke. Because it's that's my problem is I am hooked on a story. I want a good story. And when I find a good story, I want the storyteller to tell the whole fucking story. Right. There's nothing more maddening than reading an 800-page book and then getting to the end to find out that somebody ripped the fucking last chapter out. And you're just like, well, goddamn.
Yeah.
That pisses me off. And that's how I feel about TV that gets canceled. Is it's just I get hooked on something that's actually good, but because the mass populace of America is so focused on bullshit,
right?
Then the good stuff gets buried and nobody watches it and it gets canceled.
That is totally true. But I
ranted.
That's okay. I do want to say in response that in this particular movie, television show rather,
the limited series.
Stephen Delane, I think is his name. I'm not sure. He plays Prometheus, who is also the narrator of the story, primarily. So, he's hanging out on his cliff wall, getting his liver eaten by an eagle, and he's telling the story of how his nephew Zeus is an asshole, and he presents that there is a plan in motion. I think that they did the magic trick thing, the pledge, the turn, and the prestige. So I think
they got their setup.
They got that. They got through what they wanted.
Well, that's the thing, though. Is
but there is some
those 3 acts, those 3 pieces are part of one magic trick.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
And one magic trick doesn't make up the show. You don't go for the one magic trick. You get the whole freaking 30 minutes to an hour, and we're missing the rest. We got the one trick. There's more tricks up this artist's sleeve.
I do think that there was going to be some interesting consequences of what happened in subsequent seasons. But
yeah,
I also think it wasn't going to be the same kind of intrigue that they had built for this season.
And I was interested for it still, though, because so this whole season follows the gods.
Yeah.
As they're slowly basically just losing themselves to chaos. And the humans, at the end, spoilers, they're in charge. They've got the power.
Right.
Like, the humans now had the ball in their court. So season 2 was going to be more focused on the humans and where they go from here. And the gods were going to start becoming like a, trod upon character.
Sure. That
they're still in it, of course, but they're not going to be as
at least Zeus. At least Zeus was, gonna be. He was gonna be their lackey, trying to get in their good graces or something. And that would have been a fun change for, I think, Jeff. I think Jeff would have found that fun.
Oh god, it would have been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I think what we'll do is get a synopsis and feel for the story as we go through the cast list. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, see, Zeus is...
I do think these performers did a great job.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Zeus has a big bad prophecy around him that, I don't remember the exact wording, nor does it really matter, but if a line would appear, or a line appears, and then the family would fall, and chaos would reign.
Yes, that's the gist of it. Yeah.
That's not as eloquently as the Fates put it. Let's quickly go through the Fates. The Fates, they give prophecies to everybody.
Yes.
Everybody gets a prophecy from the Fates. And this is a different world. This isn't modern day Earth. This is modern day Earth.
This is a modern
this is modern day Earth if the Greek empire basically had had continued.
Yeah. If Zeus and that pantheon of gods were real and had real power on Earth to influence people.
Yes. Not to offend those who might still worship Zeus.
You know what? I'm going to re-say that because I actually know some Neo-Hellenists, so I'm sorry. I think that faith is not something that you should mock personally. I think what needs to be looked at in, people who are quite religious is how they're using their beliefs to affect other people.
And that's what I'm trying to mock more.
Yeah.
I used to mock religion a lot, but it's really that I hate.
Yeah, I hate that.
And so I've been as I've grown up, I've been trying to reel in the attacks on fate and more of the attacks on the fate screamers.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would call them.
Bible thumper is still appropriate.
Yeah. Bible thumpers. Yeah, I gotta say, I haven't been hearing many other religions trying to... to get me. Calm down, Christians.
I mean, the Hare Krishnas had a big push in like the 70s and 80s. I guess 60s too, but...
Bless you.
That's rude. So, the Fates...
The Fates. They give everybody prophecies, and all three of them are, I believe, non-binary or trans individuals, played by at least non-binary or trans individuals. You have Susie Eddie Izzard. I don't know if I believe they still go by Eddie, or maybe they've asked everybody to go by.
Also known as is what they say on their page, but
I was gonna say Wikipedia also still has Elliot Page's dead name on there, so it's like it's hard to tell with that. But last I had heard,
we'll call them Susie.
But you got Susie Izzard. I love Susie Izzard. Like, I've been a big fan for years.
Sure.
I mean, honestly, trans female, trans idol. Like, she's amazing.
Yeah, I really liked her.
She has her moments.
And I liked her in Hannibal. And honestly, I don't know too much other stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I don't either. But I've seen them. I've seen more.
Watched interviews with them since Hannibal.
Exactly, I've seen more of like their personality outside of their products. We also they play Lachesis or Lackey.
Mm-hmm. The worst.
I'm gonna mispronounce. Yeah. The best. I'm going to mispronounce all these names. Clotho,
probably.
Yeah. Played by Shay. Yeah. We don't have any information on these from
bad,
Wikipedia. It is pretty bad.
But the last
Atropos.
Yeah, there you go.
Played by Sam Buttery.
Which is a great name.
What a great name. That's such a good name.
Yeah, so they give...
Oh yeah, they give everybody prophecies.
Yes. And we come to find out very quickly in the first episode that Zeus shares a prophecy. So the gods get them as well. But Zeus has a prophecy that is the same.
Oh, they might not be gods.
As 3 different humans is what we find out anyways. And
which is either the fates are lazy or the fates are planning something.
Yeah, exactly.
You decide.
And nobody's prophecy is supposed to be the same, so it is unusual. Now, just because their storylines are the other main storylines, those 3 people are Eurydice, who goes by Riddy, a nickname I actually like. And
I like,
Aurora.
She's played by Aurora Perrineau.
Yes.
Perrineau.
And I like her character. She's married to
Pretty
Orpheus. This is not one of the people who has this prophecy. But that's played
Orpheus
by Killian
sucks.
Scott.
Killian
this
Scott's
version
great.
of him
Killian Scott's great.
Does
Orpheus
a bit,
sucks.
Yeah, I feel like the mythological Orpheus does not suck. He and Eurydice were actually
Dream's son doesn't suck.
Yeah, Dream's son doesn't suck.
I mean, he does get his head chopped off. I mean, that's just his own fate, you know. You gotta live with what you live with.
But in this, he is a musician, which I mean, he is in myth as well.
Yeah.
Eurydice dies.
She's his muse.
She's his muse, and she dies. And that's where she meets Kaos, who's died 10 years before that, played by Miss Sia Butler.
Yeah, which, can I say, again, one of my favorite things about this show is its severe diversity with trans and non-binary actors.
Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing. I've always known that there have been in history lots and lots of references to trans throughout.
Right.
I didn't realize it goes all the way back to ancient Greece.
Oh, yeah.
Because Kaos is actually a trans story. I didn't realize that. Like,
and you know, the gods physically in the myth physically change him into Kaos. But I believe their given name was Canis. Canis. So now they're Kaos, and they, in this version at least, they had to leave the Amazons because they made that decision. And,
which was very interesting. I like that side story. I felt like there would have been more of it come season 2.
Yeah, probably.
I felt like season 2 was going to focus more on those, like on Troy,
definitely.
More on, all of these smaller, the minorities that we hadn't really gotten to really look at.
Yeah. Billy Piper is one of the Trojans. The Trojans are kind of the Trojan War happened quite recently in this history. And it was because the Trojans pissed off Zeus. And or maybe it was Hera. I can't remember. They pissed off one of them. And
one of the gods.
The Troy was destroyed, and all these Trojan refugees came to Crete. That's what's going on there. And Billy Piper
and Hera,
plays Cassandra, the prophet.
Yeah. And just real quick, Doctor Who corner. Billy Piper, Rose. We gotta love that.
I missed the last person, though. There was one more person that has the same fate as Zeus.
Oh, it was
Ariadne. Ariadne, Ari is what she's mostly called, played by Leela Farzad. And
that is also the name of my daughter, if I were to ever have a daughter, Ariadne.
Oh, yeah.
I love that name so much.
It's a good name. She is the daughter of the president of Crete, Minos. Who in Greek tradition, was the ancient king of Crete.
I thought you were going to say in ancient tradition was played by Stanley Townsend.
He is played by Stanley Townsend in this interpretation. And Minos is a part of a lot of different myths, including
he touches things and turns them into gold. That was Midas.
That was Midas, yes. Minos, though, he was known for being cruel. He had Daedalus as a prisoner and inventor. Daedalus is played by Matt Fraser, who the only other thing I've seen him in is in season 4 of American Horror Story, and we're going to talk that.
Which we'll be talking about, soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sneak peek.
Yeah, he's good as this character. The first time you meet him, he's like painting a picture of the family. I guess it's worth mentioning that Matt Fraser has very short arms. That is, he basically just has hands. It's fun to watch him make things with those hands. He sculpts a lot in this too because. Yes. Minos and his wife have 2 children, Ari, as we mentioned, and Glaucus. Mm-hmm. Glaucus, who is played here by Fadi El Said. But Glaucus was killed, supposedly in childbirth. Well, not in childbirth. But in childhood.
Childhood. Not too long
Ari
after.
rolled over on him, and he died.
Yeah. And in her madness, the mom has Daedalus carve just not thousands, but now like 20 to 30 different little puppets of what Glaucus would look like, using his sister Ari as representation of what a male twin like her
that's
would
why
look
she's
like.
In the suit. I forgot. Okay. Not that, a woman can't wear a suit, but you know what I mean. Anyhow.
It's hot when they do.
It's true.
I love the pantsuit look.
So, another thing about Minos, it's in the name, the Minotaur. It's named after him, and it's in a labyrinth built by Daedalus. And in this interpretation, they use it as like a death sentence kind of thing. And they kind of did in the myth too. However,
I really like their take on it.
Yes, I do too.
The blatantly obvious prophecy relation to the Minotaur is blatantly obvious, and it's just like screaming at you the whole time. Well, you're like, how are you all so fucking stupid? But
I don't know how obvious it is that at least that first introduction of the Minotaur, because he's only in shadow.
Yeah, not to all the characters. Yeah. Well, but that's like episode 1. Like by episode 4, once you hear Minos' prophecy, and you're just like, okay, come on, bro. Yeah. Like,
so
you can't be this stupid.
About the Minotaur is that in the myth, Minos is not the Minotaur's father, and I know that's just kind of spoiling it, but we've been trying to talk around it, and that's not working. But Minos is not the father of the Minotaur. The Minotaur is, though, the child of his wife, and a bull, a bull that he had.
Wow.
He asked Poseidon, I believe, for this holy bull, a white bull. Yeah, and his wife had Daedalus make a costume of a white cow so that she could go out and have sex with the bull. And then she gave birth to the Minotaur.
It wasn't a god pretending to be a bull?
No, it was a bull.
Gods like to pretend to be animals a lot.
But it was, mythology. I believe it was Helios, I think that's right. The sun titan. I believe it was one of his flock of, or herd sense. Of bulls.
Oh. Fascinating.
Yeah. But anyways, she got pregnant from a bull because that's how science is. And
womp, womp.
She gave birth
100% medically accurate.
100% medically accurate. She gave birth to the Minotaur, and Minos thought he was going to get a kid, and instead he's got this creature. So he had Daedalus make the labyrinth and throw the Minotaur in there.
As you do.
Minos was a dick.
Pretty raunchy story.
Minos was much more of a dick than Stanley Townsend's character. And he was a dick.
Stanley is kind of like...
But he's just
kind of
like
a manipulated idiot.
Yeah.
Poseidon
kind of put him in power and is pulling all the strings of the important decisions, or at the very least, the decisions that Zeus thinks that Crete should be making.
Yeah. And Poseidon is played by Cliff Curtis. He's a pretty suave sailor man, Greek sailor man out on his yacht. He is very laid back. Yeah. He is like probably one of the more laid back of the elder gods.
He's got a very nice New Zealand accent. So, it's hard to see him as a bad guy for some reason. But
he's so charming.
He is charming. And, he's not necessarily a bad guy in this. He tells Minos to do some horrible things, but it is under threat of Zeus, who is...
Yeah, all the gods, though, are a little vindictive.
Oh, yeah. And Poseidon in the myth, one of the worst. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Zeus, too.
Just what he did to
Medusa?
Poor little Ariel.
That was Triton.
Poseidon is in love with Hera, who's played by Janet McTeer.
Yeah, and is Zeus's wife, if that doesn't...
And sister,
and also Poseidon's sister.
And Poseidon's sister.
Yeah.
They're all freaky.
So a lot of the story takes place in the underworld, okay? Because Eurydice dies right away, and meets Kaos there, right? And Kaos works there because they're stuck there. And Riddy's going to be stuck there too because Orpheus took her goddamn coin that she was supposed to give to the goddamn ferryman.
Yeah, Karen.
Karen.
Karen. Can you imagine? You get on the river Styx and
hey, Karen.
We almost there, Karen.
Karen was played by Ramon Tikaram. And I've seen him in a few other things. I'm trying to look through his things real quick. I might have saw him in Pennyworth. I watched some of Pennyworth.
Yeah, the myth is like you give him your coin to cross the river Styx and get ferried to the afterlife or whatever, what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Orpheus was fucking dick, and he wanted to have one more shot at seeing Riddy, so he took her fucking coin right before she got buried.
Right.
So she's stuck there,
and she won't be renewed.
Yeah, god damn it. And Kaos, well, I think you should watch the show because I love his story.
Yeah, it's good. It's all, I think, very good. And there's other things that I'm sure we didn't bring. Oh, we got to talk about Dionysus, though. He's a main character.
Oh, yeah.
Dionysus kind of...
Naban Rizwan.
Kind of the impetus of the plot. Without him, Orpheus at least wouldn't make it to the underworld. And the Fates wouldn't end up with his watch. And
he really does get the ball rolling on everything.
Oh man, there's this great...
he's the bratty party child.
Oh yeah. We didn't actually talk
he's lovable. He has all the fun.
Yeah.
You know, he's a lover boy.
I just want more responsibility, Dad.
I need more responsibility. Even though I totally can't handle it.
Oh yeah, Medusa is in this, played by Debbie Marzar, who I thought was Faruka Bulk for some reason.
It really works. A lot of the people in the underworld are purposefully bland.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Medusa, even though I think Debbie does a great job, I do think her character is kind of one of the weaker points of the show. Just because everything is just sapped of color.
They're trying to say that, you know, she's been down there for like 6,000 years. She's fucking bored. Fucking time. She's only working because she's bored.
Yeah. And I mean, that is probably, I mean, in all actuality, if heaven and hell exist, you can only imagine that things would get really fucking boring in both areas. And I can imagine that that's how Medusa would be around this time. Yeah. But at the same time, for a show that has so much intrigue and like mystery and everything, once it gets to those parts where it's like, oh my god, okay, I forgot, you guys are really, oh my goodness, like.
If I could go into closing statements, I think we're ready for that.
Oh, please.
I think if you like Greco-Roman myth bullshit, which I do, and you know,
as you piss off all of Greece, bullshit.
Excuse me. If you like the mythos of the Greek pantheon and you know, just myth in general, you will enjoy Kaos because it just has a bunch of layers of references to the myth.
Yeah, so much.
Yeah, it's really fun to peel it back and to see it in a modern spin that we got it in. Like, I mean, fucking Zeus is in a fucking tracksuit, guys. It's,
oh my god,
it's fucking amazing. Oh, there's another point that he's just in a bathrobe and, you know, like
it's really cool because it's like he's literally just doing what Jeff Golblum always does, which is be Jeff Golblum.
Oh, yeah.
But he's doing it with this childish anger, you know, and it's just like behind everything. It's so fascinating.
He's throwing tantrums. He throws tantrums. He's so good.
Oh my god, we forgot to mention, by the way, that Hades is played by
oh god, David Thewlis. And Persephone is played by Rocky Ayola. And I think they're a really good pair.
Their take on Persephone.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It's a much different look at this character because, I mean, even as she says, the stories have her as like a slave,
right?
You know, unwanting of being down there against her will. That's the way to put it, against her will. But in this show, she really just loves Hades, and it's so adorable.
Yeah, and you know, there was even a line at some point where Hades says, "Maybe I won't have to give you up for a season after this," or something like that. You know, that's to reference to the fact
had to give her up for the whole show.
She leaves and visits Demeter in the spring, I think, and yeah. But anyhow, I did like that they were shown to be in love in this, and that it was not a hostile relationship. You know, even if I think they made it seem like it was more of an arranged thing than a kidnapping. In the myth, he straight up pulls her through the ground. But Persephone, though, I do believe is also depicted at other times sitting in in a throne next to Hades as they take audience with people in the other underworld. She is put on equal footing with him as Queen of the Underworld.
As she should.
Yeah, I really like this show because I do love myth of all sort and religion, Vero, and I will give this show a face and a half because I really just enjoyed it.
You forgot to slap your face.
I did forget to slap my face. I'm sorry, Vero. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Face and a half. Yeah. I was thinking about giving it just a face. because it got canceled, but no, I really enjoyed it, and I'll probably watch it again sometime.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I hate the fact that it got canceled. There was so much more to tell, and it's like I get that it does kind of wrap itself up, but from a storytelling perspective, there was so much more that needed to be
some questions
discussed.
That are too left open, and maybe they'll, maybe with enough.
Maybe it'll get picked up somewhere else. I doubt it, but
I doubt that. Yeah. But maybe Netflix would be willing to bring it back in a couple of years. They've had shows that they've taken a couple-year break on.
Yeah.
And
where's that Arrested Development season, whatever the fuck?
Also, though, I believe there was like 2 years. Oh, so many years between Stranger Things. I mean,
Oh yeah, but that one makes sense. Like.
Yeah,
COVID and everything, and
that's true. But there was breaks,
and now they're all 20-something.
That's true. That's also true. Wasn't there supposed to be a part 5 still? I don't know.
They're working on it. It's coming out soon, like next year, I think.
That's cool.
But I really loved this. I thought it was beautiful. I loved the gods. I loved their interactions with each other, their interactions with humans. I loved the Greek viewpoint of this world. Like it's such a weird idea for me to like see a modern day Earth, but from a viewpoint of like if a completely different culture dominated everything.
Right.
Instead of it's fascinating. I fucking loved that whole world that they had built here. I love the mythos. I'm not as big into all this stuff as you, the mythology of things, but even from a kid, I've always loved it. I've just never been as in love with it as you.
Right.
So I love being in this kind of a world where it's just a complete awesome godly mythology with a completely unique look at the gods. It's like American Gods is probably my favorite book of all time by Neil Gaiman.
I still haven't read that. I don't know why. I should read that.
Highly recommend it, although he's canceled now.
That's
sexual harassment charges. Right. Yeah. He's of course denying them. I typically side and almost always side with the victims. I really hate to do that in this moment because he was such an inspiration. But
I do also believe in, without a reasonable doubt to an extent. There's a system.
Yeah, that's fair.
For a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
and it's possible that the actions, maybe they weren't they're obviously probably not as devastating as other individuals' actions, but that said, it was still such a hit. Exactly. It's not okay. But it was still a big disappointment because American Gods is one of my favorite books.
Also Sandman, and just so many other things.
Yeah, Sandman's my favorite favorite graphic novel series easily. Yeah. I've read that so many times. Like he's an amazing writer, and I loved his viewpoint of the gods and what makes the gods tick.
Yeah.
And this is a very similar take on them. Not in regards to not exact same, but like this viewpoint of like we're gonna take these gods and we're gonna completely flip it. It's like we're gonna dissect the fuck out of these guys.
Yeah.
And
they have human personalities. They just also are gods. And I think that works really well for these polytheist religions and fiction because they were depicted as having personalities and quirks and seeking retribution and doing very human things. They're very much a representation of what humanity was. The monotheist God is perfect in most of his interpretations.
He's all facets but one facet. It's true. It's but no, I really enjoyed this show. I enjoyed its diversity, specifically its trans casting. There was so much non-binary and trans viewpoints that I just never would have expected to come from a show like this. So I really do give it 5 stars out of 5. It was just fascinating television.
Yeah, it was very fascinating. I appreciate that you gave it that rating. I thought it being canceled might affect it more.
No, I mean, just for a season perspective, the whole story, I can't can't rate the whole show because it never got it.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
It's like Carnivale. It's another one of those. Carnivale was a great show about good versus evil, very Lost-like. I think it only had 2 seasons.
Wasn't it a Linklater thing?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
It felt like it.
Yeah,
I didn't watch much of it.
It was cut short just because of people weren't watching it, and it's just like, goddamn you people,
watch it,
motherfucking producers.
Which, I don't know if people aren't watching this because I just feel like Jeff Goldblum has a really big draw.
Oh yeah,
even now,
I don't know.
I would love to watch him be Zeus again. It was perfect.
Oh yeah. I'd watch it just for that again.
Yeah.
But that's been the show. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes.
We'll have another TV Talks, as we mentioned, coming to you soon. Yes, American Horror Story Freak Show.
Our playlist.
Season 4.
Happy spooky time.
Yay! I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels! And good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.